The house that breathes. The sky over Hollow Creek, Indiana was ink black when I arrived. No moon, no stars, nothing but the heavy silence that sits over forgotten places. At the end of the dirt road stood the thing locals still refused to call by name. They simply whispered, the farmhouse. The place no one lived in, yet everyone claimed to hear. I was here alone. The air felt wrong the moment I stepped out of the car, like the world was holding its breath. The wooden structure ahead of me had sagged under a century of winters, its windows sunk deep like bruised eyes. Wind didn't move, but I swore the house exhaled, slow, long, tired. For a second, I thought something watched me from the porch window. But when I blinked, it was gone. I powered on my chest camera, letting its red light blink into the empty dark. This is it. Weeks of planning, years of fascination, and now I stood at the edge of one of America's oldest ghost villages. They called this house the Stokes Farmstead, built in 1864, moved here in the mid-1970s along with half the ghost town. Some believe spirits stayed with the home when it was relocated, dragging their history across counties. Others swore the ground itself was the true curse, that the house woke up only after being set here. Tonight, alone and without a backup crew, I would find out which story was true. I pushed open the front door. A low groan rolled through the beams like something waking from sleep. Inside, the darkness swallowed everything beyond the first few feet of my flashlight. Furniture from another century remained exactly where it had been left. Rocking chairs frozen mid-sway, a cradle draped in dust, portraits of unsmiling faces whose eyes gleamed when light hit them at the wrong angle. The floorboards complained under every step. This was the parlor, I whispered into the mic. Family gatherings, visitors, and reportedly the place where the Stokes children played before the fever swept through in 1867. 4 children died that winter. Locals insisted they still ran through the house at night. At the foot of the staircase, I placed a small motion-activated music box, one that played a soft, old lullaby whenever anything passed in front of it. I snapped it on. Silence. Then, a soft click upstairs. I froze. No wind. No animals. Just the sound of a single footstep directly above me. Hello? My voice shook more than I wanted. No answer. I climbed the staircase slowly, each step letting out a long, brittle creak. At the top, the faint smell of old wood mingled with something sour, like damp cloth left in the dark for too many years. The hallway stretched into shadows, lined with dolls, toys, and cracked children's portraits arranged exactly as they had been left decades ago. Something about the placement made my skin crawl. None of it felt staged for a museum. It felt lived in. Halfway down the hall, a child's dress hung from a wooden peg. Its shadow stretched unnaturally long across the floor, reaching toward my feet. I heard it then. A soft voice. Not angry. Not threatening. Just sad. Don't go. I spun around. Nothing. But the air had changed, thicker, heavier. And below us, the music box downstairs began to play. Once. Twice. Then stopped abruptly, like someone had touched it, and pulled their hand away at the exact moment I started running back down the stairs. At the bottom, I stopped cold. The music box had been moved. It now sat in the center of the parlor floor, 2 full feet from where I'd placed it. Still warm to the touch. And then, from behind me, inside the darkness of the hallway, a whisper. You shouldn't have come alone. The children who never left. A cold shiver crawled across my neck as the whisper faded into the dark hallway behind me. I turned slowly, flashlight trembling in my grip, but the beam only stretched across empty air. No figure. No movement. Only the hollow creak of the farmhouse settling around me like a slow, steady heartbeat. But someone, something, had moved that music box, and I was no longer convinced I was alone. I steadied my breathing and forced myself deeper into the house, back toward the first-floor bedroom. This had once been the master room, Elias and Margaret Stokes' chamber. Both were said to be stern, devout, and endlessly protective of their children. Some investigators claimed that even in death, the parents remained, pacing the home they'd fought desperately to keep safe during the fever outbreak. A rocking chair in the corner swayed once, then stopped. No draft. No reason. I raised the EMF reader. Immediately, the lights spiked to red. Okay, if anyone is here, I'm listening. A soft thump sounded from upstairs, like something small hopping off a bed. I swallowed. Is that one of the children? Another thump. Lighter this time. Playful. Almost curious. My flashlight flickered once, then stabilized. I made my way to the staircase again, each step groaning beneath me. This time, when I reached the landing, the hallway felt different. Warmer, almost. Like a faint layer of breath had fogged the air. At the end of the hallway, a wooden cradle rocked slowly back and forth. No wind. No vibration. No reason. Just movement. I stepped closer, heart pounding. Inside the cradle lay a tiny porcelain doll, eyes painted a glossy black, hair matted with age. But it wasn't the doll that unsettled me. It was the small handprint beside it. Fresh. Dust pushed aside in the shape of a tiny palm. I crouched. Are you trying to show me something? Something scuttled down the hallway behind me. Quick, light footsteps. I spun around. Nothing. But the sound was unmistakable. A child running barefoot across old wooden floors. Then a girl's voice drifted from the sewing room. Don't let him in. My throat tightened. Who can I let in? Silence. I stepped toward the sewing room. My flashlight dimmed again, sputtering like a candle in the wind. Each inch closer made the temperature drop. 10 degrees, maybe more. Frost edged along the window glass. Inside the sewing room, the air felt thick, heavy, almost suffocating. A faint tapping sound echoed from the far corner. Tap, tap, tap. Rhythmic, intentional. Like someone knocking from inside a wall. I raised the camera. Hello? Can you repeat that? Tap, tap, tap. 3 knocks. Are you trapped? I whispered. 4 knocks. Rapid. Urgent. A warning. Suddenly, a loud crash erupted from the children's room behind me. I bolted down the hall, nearly tripping over warped floorboards. The door to the children's room was wide open, something it hadn't been moments ago. Inside, every toy had been rearranged. The dolls now sat in a perfect semicircle facing the doorway. A marionette hung from the bed frame, its lifeless wooden head tilted upward, staring directly at me. And in the middle of the floor, a message traced in dust. Letters uneven but clear. He's coming! The house groaned again, louder this time, almost a growl moving through the beams. The temperature plummeted. My breath came out in white puffs. From the staircase behind me, heavy footsteps descended. Slow. Deliberate. Adult. Not the soft, playful steps from before. I stepped back into the corner. Who's there? The footsteps reached the bottom of the stairs. Stopped. A man's voice, deep and hollow, slid through the darkness. You shouldn't speak to them. My flashlight flickered violently, then died. The one who walks at night. Darkness swallowed the hallway the moment my flashlight went out, total, suffocating black. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. Couldn't see the doorway. Couldn't see the stairs where those heavy footsteps had stopped. But I could hear breathing. Not mine. Slow. Deep. Too close. I forced myself backward until my shoulder hit the children's room wall. My heartbeat pounded so hard the camera strapped to my chest rattled with each pulse. Who are you? My voice cracked. The answer came immediately. Leave. A whisper, but filled with weight. Authority. Something old, older than the house, older than the village. Something that did not want me speaking with the children. I scrambled for my backup light and flicked it on. A thin, weak beam sliced through the dark, barely illuminating the hallway. Nothing visible. But the air carried a shape, like heat rippling off asphalt. A human outline without features. And it stood at the bottom of the stairs, watching. I swallowed hard and stepped out of the children's room, my light trembling across the figure. The silhouette didn't move, didn't shift, just absorbed the light, refusing to reveal a face. "Are you Elias Stokes?" I asked. The shape darkened, thickened, like my question offended it. A voice, low, rumbling, answered, "Not him." My skin prickled. "Then who are you?" The house responded before the figure did. All the doors upstairs slammed at once, boom, 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 like the entire hallway exhaled in panic. The cradle rocked violently. The marionette jerked on its string, and from behind me, the same child's voice whispered, "Don't let him touch you." My stomach dropped. I backed toward the staircase railing, keeping the silhouette in my light. "Why? What happens if he touches me?" The girl's voice trembled. "He takes you downstairs." A chill shot through me. Downstairs where? But I already knew. The basement. The one room I had avoided. The one room the house seemed desperate to hide. Suddenly, the silhouette took a step forward. Just one. But the floorboards beneath it groaned like something massive was shifting its weight. The temperature plunged again, and frost curled along the staircase banister. Behind me, the music box began to play. Slow, warped, dragging out each note like a warning. I snapped around. The music box was now at the foot of the stairs, even though I had left it in the parlor. And beside it, clear as day, were 3 sets of small footprints in the dust, all pointing toward me. The children were trying to warn me. I raised the camera. "Why can't I go downstairs?" The girl's whisper came again, so soft I almost missed it. "He lives there." The silhouette surged forward. I stumbled back, slipping on the warped floor as the staircase groaned beneath me. The light flickered violently, and for a split second, just one heartbeat, I saw its face. Not a man. Not a spirit. Something hollow, stretched thin over darkness. Something wrong. A jaw too long. Eyes like deep pits. A face pulled tight like old leather. And then the light died again. A hand grabbed my arm. Cold. Powerful. Pulling me toward the basement door. I yelled, ripping myself free, crashing into the wall. My shoulder screamed in pain. I fumbled desperately for the emergency light on my vest and slammed it on, bright white light flooding the hallway. The figure vanished instantly. Only silence remained. Only the farmhouse breathing. I scrambled down the stairs, grabbed the music box, and bolted for the front door. As I reached it, the house groaned, an angry, shuddering sound, as if it knew I was escaping. Just as I pushed the door open, a final whisper drifted from upstairs. "Don't come back." I didn't look back. I didn't close the door. I didn't breathe until I reached the road. Behind me, the farmhouse stood still and silent under the black Indiana sky. But as I turned the camera toward it one last time, a small silhouette appeared in the upstairs window, watching, waiting, and beside it, a taller, darker shape slowly rose behind the child. The house wasn't empty. It never had been.